The Wasp Factory. Chapter 8. Uh, somewhere in the middle, I think. No, it's chapter. I'm lost. Let me start over. Chapter 4. Part 8. Is that even right? Anyway. If you heard it before, fast forward. A few pints later, when the Vomits were doing their first encore, Jamie and I were up dancing, jumping up and down, Jamie shouting and clapping his hands and dancing about on my shoulders. I don't mind dancing with girls when it's for Jamie, though one time with one tall lassie, he wanted us both to go outside so he could kiss her. The thought of her tits pressed up against my face nearly made me throw up, and I had to disappoint him. Anyway, most of the punk girls don't smell of perfume, and only a few wear skirts, and even then they're usually leather ones. Jamie and I got pushed about a bit and nearly fell down a couple of times. We survived through to the end of the night without any scrapes. Unfortunately, Jamie ended up talking to some woman, but I was too busy trying to breathe deeply and keep the far wall steady really to but I was too busy trying to breathe deeply and keep the far wall steady really to care. Yeah, I'm going to get a bike soon. 250, of course, Jamie was saying. I was half listening. He was not going to get a bike because he wouldn't be able to reach the pedals, but I wouldn't have said anything even if I could have, because nobody expects people to tell the truth to a woman, and besides, that's what friends are for, as they say. The girl, when I could see her properly, was a rough-looking 20 and had as many coats of paint over her eyes as a roller gets on its doors. She smoked a horrible French cigarette. My mate's got a bike, Sue. It's a Suzuki. My mate's got a bike, Sue. It's a Suzuki 185 GT. Her brother used to have, but she's saving up for a Goldwing. They were putting the chairs up on the tables and wiping up the mess on the cracked glasses and limp crisp bags, and I wasn't feeling too good. The girl sounded worse the more I listened to her. Her accent sounded horrible. West Coast somewhere. Glasgow. I shouldn't wonder. Nah, I wouldn't have one of those. Too heavy. A 500 would do me. I really fancy a Moto Guzzi, but I'm not sure about shaft drive. Christ, I was about to do the Technicolor yawn all over this girl's jacket through the tears and resting her zips and filling her pockets, and probably send Jamie flying across the room into the beer crates under the speaker stacks. With the first awful heave, and here were these two trading absurd biker fantasies. What a fag, the girl said. Want a fag, the girl said, shoving a packet up past my nose towards Jamie. I was seeing trails and lights from the blue packet passing even after she brought it back down. Jamie must have taken a cigarette, even though I knew he didn't smoke, because I saw the lighter go up, igniting in front of my eyes in a shower of sparks like fireworks. I could almost feel my occipital lobe fusing. I thought of making some smart remark to Jamie about stunting his growth, but all lines to and from my brain seemed to be jammed with urgent messages coming from my guts. I could feel an awful churning going on down there, and was sure it would only end in one way. But I couldn't move. I was stuck there like a flying buttress between the floor and the pillar, and Jamie was still gibbering away to the girl about the sound a Triumph makes and the high speed runs he'd done up the side of the Loch Lomond at night. You on holiday like? Hey, me and my mates have got a boyfriend, but he's out on the rigs. Ah, yeah. I was still breathing hard, trying to clear my head with oxygen. I didn't understand Jamie. He was half the size I was. Half the size I was, half the weight or less, and no matter how much we drank together, he never seemed to be affected. He certainly wasn't dumping his pints on the floor on the slide. I have got wet if he was. I realized that the girl had finally noticed me. She poked my shoulder for what I gradually comprehended wasn't the first time. Hey, she said. What? I struggled. You all right? Not A. I nodded slowly, hoping to content her with this, then looked away and up to one side as though I had just found something very interesting and important to look at on the ceiling. Jamie nudged me with his feet. What? I said again, not trying to look at him. You staying here all night? What? I said. No. How are you how are you ready? Right. I put my hands behind me to find the pillar, found it, pushed myself up, hoping my feet wouldn't slip on the beer wet floor. Maybe you'd better let me down, Frank said. Frank, lad, Jamie said, nudging me hard. I looked sort of up and then to the side again as though at him, then nodded. I let my back slide down the pillar until I was virtually squatting on the floor. The girl helped Jamie jump down. His red hair and her blonde looked suddenly garish from that angle in the now brightly lit room. Duncan was coming closer with the brush and big bucket, emptying ashtrays and mopping things. I struggled to get up, then felt Jamie and the girl take me under each arm and help me. I was starting to get triple vision and wondering how you did that with only two eyes. I wasn't sure if they were talking to me or not.